Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Well. Well, I don't really like the whole camera thing, but you know, it's going to be probably be around for a while, so you know, I think we can learn to live with it. Just trying out some new Bible software I got here. It's called eSword, and it's not really as good as they advertised it to be, but it's okay. It's alright. It's got Strong's coding on every word, so you can go in here and you can kind of, if you want to look up a word, we'll take an example here. Let's see. We'll try bread. So you want to click on this word, this Strong's code right here, and there you go. Artos, bread, as raised, or a loaf, showbread loaf. And then you want to look up the total. You want a list of all the occurrences. You can click here, and it's going to give you all the occurrences in the New Testament. That's pretty good, isn't it? Well, let's see, 91 verses. Command, Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. Be made. Look that up. Genomai. That word, very familiar. It occurs all the time. But anyways, that's pretty good. It's good software. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a format that I can use here, because what I eventually want to do is I want to make this more of an interactive type of deal, so that eventually I can have people on and we could just go back and forth and discuss theology or whatever, instead of just the audios. Audios are okay, but I'd like to have this format here, this video format. I think is a little bit better for the for apologetics purposes. But there's only so much you can do with Bible software. I mean, you can do word studies and stuff like that, but you can't really do much else. I'm thinking perhaps if I go through and I start looking at other YouTube videos, like what other people are saying, like Don Preston's latest videos, the latest videos, latest comments, stuff like that, interactive kind of stuff. Let's see, Don Preston. And then to comment on stuff like that, I think would actually be pretty cool. So Mr. Don Preston, and we watch his videos regularly. We do watch your videos, Don. We do. I promise you. Let me get rid of this guy. And as you see, there's a lot of comments on here, and we've commented a couple of times on this on his channel just today. There's this guy right here, this Eric Hall guy. He's always posting stuff to the effect that that basically everything was fulfilled in the 6th century BC. I don't know if you've seen that before, but he's got this really wacky view where he takes everything that's in the New Testament regarding eschatology. He just takes it, he just runs it all the way back to the 6th century and says, well, everything was fulfilled in the 6th century, so we don't really know what the New Testament writers were writing about. Apparently they were just echoing something that was already fulfilled, but if you like that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of potential for these video sort of podcasts. Lot more potential, I think, than there is for the audios. So I'm keeping my mind open as far as actual suggestions go. If you have any suggestions, if you have any if you have any recommendations, any advice as to how to steer this channel, where to steer it, please, by all means, drop me a line. You can also email me at feelinm@gmail.com. I'll actually type that out for you so you can see it. So my email is feelinm at gmail.com. And if you email me, you can email me, and if you have some suggestions, or did you want to hop on and do a podcast together, we could do that. I think Microsoft Teams is a pretty good system. I've used that before. I'm not on YouTube or anything, but I've used that to do video conferences before. But if there's other software that's available, I'm open, to that too. Zoom. I not too familiar with Zoom, but I think Zoom is, people that I know who have used Zoom have been pretty impressed with it. So yeah, just hit me up if you want to, if you got any suggestions. And also, I wanted to just announce. I guess it's an announcement. It's not really an announcement, but I wanted to just mention that I have a small book that I wrote that I just send people. It's on PDF. I haven't printed it or anything yet, but it's called The King and the Kingdom. Let's see if I can pull that up. Well, let's not pull that up. It's actually, I'll tell you where it is. If you go to antipreterist.com, it's going to be antipreterist.com. No! I'm looking it up on YouTube. I really need to be, let's see, antipreterist.com. Yeah. Here we go. It's the second article down. It says, free download, The King and the Kingdom. It says, Phelan McPhail's new booklet, The King and the Kingdom, is now available for free download. So what you do is you click on the actual link, and then you go down, and here you go. It says download link. You click on the download link, and there you go. There's actually a place where you could actually download it. King and the Kingdom by Phelan McPhail. King and the Kingdom: Introduction to AD 70 Dispensationalism. And the reason why I call it that is because it's not dispensational. It's actually historic premillennial. But the way it's structured, it's almost structured the way dispensationalism is. And I got the general idea for the theological rationale of the book is actually something that I learned a long time ago when I was reading. I had just come out of full preterism, and I was starting to read the writings of E.W. Bullinger, and he's got a book called, I think it's called How to Enjoy the Bible. It's a textbook on hermeneutics, and he gave some really crazy conclusions, but he also wrote some very profound theological essays, tracts, books, writings, what have you. And he said something to the effect that the book of Acts, that the Acts dispensation was transitional from the kingdom to the church. And when I read that, I was like, whoa, transitional from the kingdom to the church, what does that mean? And it sort of grabbed my imagination. And I sort of started to, while I was thinking of these things, I was examining his writings in more depth, and I came to the conclusion that he's right, that Israel was still being dealt with after Pentecost. And of course, he was what they call a late Acts dispensationalist. He believed that the church didn't start until after Acts 28. Well, I never, went that far. I'm actually a historic premillennialist. I believe that the church did start on the day of Pentecost, but I took some of his ideas and I integrated them sort of into my own theology, and that's where the apotelesmatic idea comes from. Apotelesmatic is a word that Randall Price coined a long time ago, and it comes from the Greek preposition apo, meaning from or away from, and telos, meaning the end, so away from the end. Has to do with the idea of prophetic postponement, as it were. But anyways, if you have time, it's a short book. It's about 70 pages long. It'll take you a few hours to read. And I didn't want to waste anybody's time. I didn't want to impose on anybody by writing a super duper long book that nobody was going to read. So what I did is I started off with a synopsis of Kingdom Truth. And I sort of, it's hastily written, and it's got a lot of meat in it. So if you have a chance to read that, go ahead, read it. But yeah. Anyways, that's this session right here. This was just really a test. It was a teaser, if you will. But we'll get more into it. And just let me know if you have any suggestions. And until next time, probably do another podcast tomorrow morning. But have a great evening, and I'll talk to you shortly.